So there is a clip going around right now of comedian Pete Davidson, someone who has worked with Trump in the past, and he is exposing the fact that Trump can't actually read. So let's check out the video.
Trump, you were telling me
I have one story I'm allowed to tell, and it's hilarious.
you have stories you're not allowed to tell.
What happened with the Trump story?
Okay, so he's like, he doesn't really know how to read.
For real.
Yeah, and he loves to improv.
Yeah.
So during like the table read, he like, before like we were gonna read each, before he had to read each line, and he's the host, so he's at everything.
Yeah.
He would go, I'm not going to say this. I think I'm going to say it the way I want to say it. Is that okay? Is that okay, Lauren? Is that everything? And everybody's like, what? And then this is my favorite part, is there was a sketch that we wrote where he's at Disneyland with his daughter, and the line is, all right, let's get out of here. Turkey legs? Like, let's like go get turkey legs. And he doesn't know how to read. So he went, all right, let's get out of here, turkey legs. He called his daughter turkey legs.
Maybe that was his improv.
Oh, no, it wasn't. And then he looked up, like, he doesn't get it. Like, he thinks if everybody's laughing with him, but we're all laughing at him. And it was like crazy for he would be like, I did a good job, right? And we're like, yeah.
Did he need reassurance, a lot of reassurance, or was he pretty confident?
He constantly kept saying how amazing the ratings were going to be.
And they were.
He's like, this is going to be number one.
Now, it's all fun and games when you cannot read on a TV show. But when you realize that as a president, he has to sign important documents and read important briefings, then that becomes an issue. In fact, this exact point was brought up by Rex Tillerson, who served as the 69th U.S. Secretary of State.
Highly, process-oriented ExxonMobil Corporation, where everybody sang from the same hymnal, or you got kicked out of the choir, and to go to work for a man who is pretty undisciplined, doesn't like to read, doesn't read briefing reports, doesn't like to get into the details of a lot of things, but rather just kind of says, look, this is what I believe, and you can try to convince me otherwise, but most of the time you're not going to do that. So it was really, for me, a challenge of, okay, I see your objectives, and I'll be very frank with you, I could sign on to just about all of his objectives. They're good for America. Our differences were always on tactics. When the president would say, well, here's what I want to do, and here's how I want to do it. And I'd have to say to him, well, Mr. President, I understand what you want to do, but you can't do it that way. It violates the law. It violates a treaty, and he got really frustrated when we would have those conversations. I said, now here's what we can do. And if you want to do that, we've got to go back to the Congress and we've got to get this law changed. And which is nothing wrong with that. Nothing. And I told him, I'm ready to go up there and fight the fight. If that's what you want to do and you want to change this law, I'll go up there and help you. But I think a lot of it was I didn't know how to conduct my affairs with him any other way than in a very straightforward fashion. And I think he grew tired of me being the guy every day that told him you can't do that. And
I wish covered the oranges, how it started. In the failing New York Times by an anonymous, gutless coward. They sacrifice every day for the furniture and future of their children. Jim Apple, Mike Pounds. I know words. I had the best words. Yosemites, Nambia. Thailand. I've always said, get some of these guys. I have a lot of friends in that world. I don't know. I think, is it Roger Penske, like a great guy too? He won 20 Indianapolis 500s. This guy wins all the time. I mean, we appreciate talent. They said, let me use these guys to guide our military a little bit. When you can win so many races, that's okay, you guide. Same thing with coaches. You take some of the greatest football coaches, you put them at a table. What do you like, coach? Because in its own way, it's not so much.
Once again, we see someone who has worked with Trump in the past, exposing the fact that he cannot read. And that, combined with the fact that Trump will be the oldest president in the US's history who will be running for election should really concern you.
Who just declared that at 76 he's too old to run again, is among those urging both Biden and Trump to make way for younger candidates.
It would be a great thing if both President Biden and former President Trump were to stand aside and let their respective party pick someone in the next generation.
Trump, who is 77, sat down for an interview with Megyn Kelly today, their first public encounter since they famously clashed at the Republican primary debate in 2015.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
77% of Americans say that Joe Biden at age 8.
We really could end up in a position where the country is being run by Trump's committee because he is too old to make the decisions himself. And to be honest, his committee includes a lot of crazy people. And the one in particular I'm talking about is J.D. Vance, who is Trump's VP pick.
Ukraine one way or the other, which understandably has Ukraine and the rest of Europe and everyone who cares about the biggest European war since the Nazi era, since World War II, has everyone a little freaked out about the prospect of a Vice President J.D. Vance. I mean, Moscow's delighted, but the rest of the world, not so much. On the issue of abortion, a key, if not the key electoral issue motivating voters this fall, J.D. Vance opposes abortion in any instance, even in cases where a woman is only pregnant because she was raped or she was the victim of incest. J.D. Vance says even those women, in every instance, should be forced by the government to stay pregnant for the full term and should be forced by the government to give birth against their will. He supports what he calls a, quote, minimum national standard to restrict abortion everywhere in all 50 states, meaning effectively a national abortion ban. There's another part of Vance's record.
I will be making a video in the future on J.D. Vance because I think he has a lot of crazy ideas and more people need to know about him. And with all that being said, thank you for watching and I'll catch you in my next video.
For the furniture.